Hey guys, Nick here, and today we will be getting into part 25 of What If Madison's Family Joined Rick. Now, last time we pretty much recapped the rest of the Savior arc and entered into what would come after, and the entrance into the Whisperer arc. Now, we will touch upon a little bit of the Whisperer arc with a very, very, very shocking revelation. Let's get into it. Now, who will be going to the cemetery for the entrance to the Whisperers? Well, the choices are pretty clear-cut in terms of people because of who is here. Rick, obviously, for number one. Madison, because she's become one of the founding leaders since the start. Daryl and Alicia, because, once again, obvious leaders. Michonne would be next on the list. I don't want to sound like a broken record. Jesus would be next because I'm not really going to take away his thing here, his storyline. Doesn't mean he's going to die, I'm just not taking him away. Magna and Yumiko, and then Aaron and Eric, because Eric is still alive. And with that, we have our group to go to the cemetery. Now, the entrance, besides extra characters, is pretty clear-cut, nothing really to talk about, but the main change occurs whenever Jesus starts fighting the walkers and then is about to get stabbed like he did originally by one of the Whisperers. But before that can even happen and that revelation comes to pass, Eric decides to help out because he thinks that Jesus is starting to he just doesn't think that Jesus will be able to take them all on. So he goes in, but he is the one to get stabbed by the Whisperer instead. Afterwards, Jesus kills the Whisperer and begins fighting several others, much more aware that they are people and not just pure walkers. The bunch of them that might have been are all dead, so they should just assume that they're all people. Because, the mask would come off. They would know that they're people. But at any rate, while Jesus is doing this, and it seems like he's holding his own for now, Morgan, Benjamin, and Henry come out of nowhere, and the odds start to turn in their favor, because Jesus looked like he was starting to lose ground again. Just then, another Whisperer is shot by none other than Dale, who has also come to the rescue. And for the first time in the series, Dale had shot another person. Because remember, Dale has never been about killing anybody. And he's just been pushed back because he's not the centerpiece of the story. But this would be a dramatic change for his character. Real quick, before we cut to that, I just forgot to mention in a previous part, last part, that Gregory still does try to kill Maggie, before they go off to deal with the Reapers and, do the community with Georgie. And this time, Maggie she's still able to defend herself, but Madison comes in around the time Gregory attacks, and for the seemingly first time, uses a hammer to kill Gregory. Now, you can thank Tyrese for really including the whole hammer aspect onto Madison, because ever since Tyrese became a part of the group, that pretty much gave way to Madison's whole having a hammer on her thing. Because remember, she had one back in season 3 when she seemingly killed Troy, but we all know he's alive. But at any rate, that is where the hammer comes into play here, Tyrese. But he's been dead for a while now. It's just not too many moments where I could include her using the hammer. But at any rate, Dale shoots someone for the first time. We cut back to the cemetery. Aaron's not going to be happy over the death of Eric. And they move on, because the Whisperers here have been all killed, thanks to a bunch of help. Then we cut to the bridge, and that pretty much plays as you would expect. But remember how I said there'd be a shocking revelation? This isn't the very big one, because that's going to be saved for the end of the episode. But this is a shocking revelation. The Whisperer that they capture and take the mask off of isn't Lydia. Instead, it's Dante. Now, for those of you who are unaware of who Dante is, he is a whisperer in disguise who in Season 10 pretty much poisoned the water and killed the group from the inside, and then ended up killing Sadiq, almost killed Rosita. It's a whole thing. But he is the one to get captured. He's the one behind the mask instead of Lydia. And he gets taken back to Hilltop for questioning. Now, Rick is the one who is going to do the questioning here with Lucille, because I feel that's much more better instead of Daryl, even though he's a very good interrogator. But before Rick can even get down to interrogating him in the cell, Dante speaks up first. He says, well, so you're the Rick Grimes that I've been told so much about. I'm sure our leader would like to know a lot more about you, if you know what I mean. And this very much surprises Rick, because not only does this guy know his name, but it seems like the leader of the Whisperers knows him too. But how can that be? They've never met. And before Rick can question him or, understand what's going on, 3 gunshots can be heard from outside. But they're not from in Hilltop. They're from out of Hilltop. And they sound like 3 shots from a shotgun. And now, whatever threat they thought the Whisperers were, now guns are included. This is a whole different ball game. Once Rick gets outside, he tells everybody to stand down, stand by the gates, and prepare for war, because if these Whisperers and whatever have guns, that makes them a whole new kind of threat. And seemingly, the group knows him, or at least the leader, so he will confront them alone and see if he can talk some way out of this. So, he goes out to where the gates are of Hilltop and sees who the leader or who is at the gates of Hilltop. Now, this is where the shocking revelation comes into fruition, because like Dante, he is switched out for Lydia, and the person who is at Hilltop leading the Whisperers isn't Alpha. It's still the person who is the leader has Alpha's mask, and the person throws it to the ground, discarding it almost. But the person would be a shock to every single person. Shane. Shane is the leader of the Whisperers, and this shock not only is terrifying, but just, Rick, you cannot begin to even describe how much this revelation not only affects him, but the entirety of the group. Shane was dead. Him and Strand, he doesn't understand. And how is, he doesn't get it. And that's where we leave things, because this poses an interesting question. How is Shane somehow, someway alive? We saw him and Strand die. There's no way that they could have survived. And if Shane survived, where's Strand? And if he's the leader of the Whisperers, what happened to Alpha, to Beta? And what will happen to the foregoing complete rest of the series with this revelation being a big one? And that's where we leave things for the moment. I bet you guys did not see that coming in any way, shape, or form. You could say that I'm taking a page out of Troy surviving, since Madison and her family are here, kind of putting it into this kind of story. And yes, you're right. I am getting a page out of Fear the Walking Dead for that one. But I'm also not. But if I were to explain any further, I would ruin the revelation, which will come next part. Shorter part, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. I'll see you guys next time.